Hi, I'm Bill Gaines, host of the Outdoor View, the place where we educate, connect, and learn to protect our outdoor traditions. Today, I have with me Dr. Brandon Monk, veterinarian with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, with an urgent message regarding how you can help keep CWD, chronic wasting disease, out of California. Welcome, Dr. Monk. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Bill. I really appreciate you having me on. Chronic wasting disease, as we all know, is probably the most important disease affecting our deer and elk, certainly in North America and potentially around the world as it continues to spread. We do not have chronic wasting disease in California yet, as far as we know. And to help protect against that, we're really asking for a lot of help from hunters to increase our surveillance, our ability to sample and test deer and elk for chronic wasting disease. It's been detected in a couple new states over the last year, including Florida, and then recently, a little bit earlier than a year ago, in Idaho. So it is creeping closer to California, and there's a couple things that hunters can do to help protect California from CWD. First and foremost, if you're hunting out of state, follow not only California's import and movement regulations, but also any state's import and movement regulations that you might be traveling through. And be sure to know and understand the regulations associated with hunting and chronic wasting disease in the states that you are hunting in, if hunting out of state. Our closest states are Idaho, Utah, and then Colorado and Wyoming are important states because they're great hunting destinations, but they also have a lot of chronic wasting disease. So we just want hunters to be aware of that. If you're hunting in California, we are working really hard to increase our ability to sample and test more and more deer throughout California. And in that vein, we're asking hunters to help us out. And there's a couple different ways hunters can help us out. We've established a website, wildlife.ca.gov/CWD, and that brings you to this webpage. And it's where we'd like folks to go to for information. There's some general information on CWD, but most importantly, we're trying to inform hunters, this is how you can help. And we really, fail or succeed in large part with how well we can get hunters involved and help us with our surveillance. There's a couple ways hunters who are hunting in state can help us out. We've established multiple check stations throughout the state. This is a very large state, and the amount of staff we have available to populate and run these stations is fairly limited. So unfortunately, we don't have as many stations as we would like, and they're not open as long as we would like. But this is a great place to go if you are hunting, particularly if you're hunting and harvesting on opening weekends. We tend to have our most sampling stations open and operating during opening weekends. Another great option is we have a number of meat processors and taxidermists that have agreed to participate in this program by either saving heads if hunters bring them in and agreed to allow the meat processor to save the head, or by collecting lymph nodes from those harvests for us and from the hunter with the hunter's consent. And then they save those lymph nodes, and then we collect them at a later date. A third option, which we're just making live really this week and rolling out for hunters, is for those that are interested in collecting their own samples. We have a how-to guide and some directions on how to collect the samples from a deer or an elk. We're focusing on deer because their harvest is the largest harvest, and in the West, at least, CWD epidemiology seems to be focused more on the behavior and natural history of deer. So we're really focused our surveillance on deer. But this how-to guide runs through where you cut to take your samples, what the samples look like, how to pull them out of the deer, how to confirm that you have the right sample, which is a retropharyngeal lymph node. So you can bisect the lymph node, confirm you've got some lymphoid follicles. If it doesn't look like that, you've probably got the wrong sample. And then how to package these samples. We have sampling kits available at our regional offices, which you can go in and grab a sampling kit. If you're unable to get a sampling kit, we ask that you get a couple Ziploc type bags, those resealable plastic bags. Those freezer bags work the best. You can put both lymph nodes into one of those bags, and then put that clean bag into a second bag with this data card. And you can click on this link down here, and you can open up a printable version of this data card that you can print out and take with you. You can also, at the top of this, print out a one-page front and back how-to guide that you can bring with you in the field if you wanted to collect your own samples. And you can click on each of these links to see where our sampling stations are, when they're open. You can use this map to identify a location nearest to you. This is the Reading office, dates and times of operation, and then also similarly meat processors that are participating are identified on this map through that link. And if you do get your animal sampled and tested, it'll take a couple weeks to more likely a few months for us to get the samples in from the field, process them, get them out to the laboratory to test those samples, and then for them to get those results back to us, and then for us to upload them to our website. But when that does happen, you can come to this website and you can search this bar right here using your tag number, and then that should give you the result. And if you have additional questions about CWD, chronic wasting disease, we have frequently asked questions down here. We have some excellent links to some excellent resources over here through the CWD Alliance and other nonprofit organizations that provide a lot of information on CWD. And if you are hunting out of state and you want to know where chronic wasting disease is currently, the USGS provides this map, which is pretty much everyone's reference map for chronic wasting disease. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at cwd@wildlife.ca.gov, and we can try to answer some of your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Monk. The Outdoor Review will do all possible to get this information out to as many deer hunters as we can, because we know how critical it is that we do everything possible to keep CWD out of California. So thank you for all you're doing with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and thank you for your information you passed out today.
Thank you for having me, Bill. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Monk. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in to the Outdoor Review, place where we educate, connect, and learn to protect our outdoor traditions. Visit our website at www.theoutdoorreview.org.